Sangmala samje dajidilo shuguyo.
Dashidile everyone.
Ni pejade nyamdo sonronang.
We will now recite the Ngöndro liturgy together.
Guru Bema Bawo Ngandro Zodanje Tamje Gongarda Sondage Ngaje Loy Toje Gomba Rekbara Sharje Ngu Tala Dede Chadrilje Chadanje Siljembe Dunje Namgaranje Bara Jelama Ganzo Namji Medala Doje Jese Tedada Gamzom Zem Jena Semloma Denje Ngandona Tezene Julbena Waraja Mandodo Julbezem Jela Porare Dombena Jorenge Shenka Jene Zodembenj Palama je jone Lunga ye da nyo mene Tende zango bede la ba Le jawa de jira la ju Nerendra nyam gejenderu Tarajende nidro bai Jelamagan rezo namji Medage gozom jenjelu Medage gozom jenjelu Medage gozom jenjelu Olazo teninde jala longro salgoba yanza longro de nyamdo salro na shugi.
Now it's time for the exhalation of the still breath 9 times. We will do it together.
Lazo teninde jala ne soldebna chilap shwe dine yembare ne chezondo ngo zawela manla namanguru mojo kombatela ne samjene samtse jigbedo ne solada be yembare ne solada be de ne ngondo ji donde jula yabo ne cheya ne chamda nyengje changju je samden jula yabo cheya ne solada be da Lameja Teshindo, Rumba George, Yambaji, Medun Nawana, Chilam Nason, some ane lama wadu shunne rangni la temne lama kozong dozong da rangni ane yerme den jor zong same yinbare ane de same njo de la ane ta jabyo sal dem da jabdo da ane semje ji tsik den zong go zong zo nyamdo song tene ane semje ji donda de zo ane samla da yin ane de rimbe nyamdo ane song ro nang.
It's time for supplication and receiving the blessings. As usual, first of all, visualize Guru Rinpoche on top of the crown of your head. Realize that in essence, he is your root Guru while appearing as Guru Rinpoche. Then supplicate him one-pointedly for the blessings to give rise to certainty on the meaning of Ngöndro practice, as well as the generation of loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. Having supplicated, visualize that you have received all the blessings and accomplishments from the Guru accordingly. After that, visualize that one's root Guru dissolves into light and then to oneself, making the body, speech, and mind of the Guru and oneself indivisible. We will then recite the liturgy on the visualization of the field of merit, going for refuge, and giving rise to bodhicitta. Then we shall begin our contemplation on giving rise to bodhicitta.
Balde zawe lama rembo tage jor beme de lash kade jembe ngone jesu kozon do je ngondro zaldo zor dezon zanje dam jinje ngogo lama rembo jenje tage jo menje Chinje labdo zo zablam je do ba je bar jula je oran jinje labdo zo se de ne la o zo ba je la tar je bar jinje labdo zo de zo no zanje dam jinje ngo lama rembo je da ge ju min je jol wara jinje la Sablam je doba je bara je jula je ora je lam dos se de ne la o zalan zoba lam jo dar je bara je lam dos de zum sa je da no lama rembo je da gi ju min je dolora je lam Samlam je doba je bara je jula je ora je lam dos se de ne la o zan zoba je lam jo dar je bara je lam dos so an de zo lama re mo je do we but jin je kalme da la re za jule tu ye yermen je bara je lo dunje za je bo shin gang bon zo we ba zam jin ge do bo yal ga we zo be ma da don je be de da we la ma goro be ma Rizin chubdo jazu gorje goro dundo yedam yada hiru Chenan jude yedam la yezo yezo jum shanja do bala choju de zum sanje namje goro chabdo de zum dambe jun Mendur shumar zirye chada je yondo jazim yerangen Parzamin jenje yalga chara de kanjo damje jenda Toje donga jela seje barate do da ba Tanye barme kanyam zemje gun sheme den Nyembora jabaje korwe zone tarde zeje Kozum gobe jabzo do wara enjo Namo dada ganyam zemje malu gun nama zanj Cheda gendun Yedam Bawo Kanro Junyung Tuje Jede Namla Jabzunji Jabyo Namje Wazrenje Dajinje Deje Da Chongwara Injuru Onje Jalwa Zedan Jenamje Lame Janju Jodo Tanya Manjuro Kanyam Dogo Penda Ledo Sanje Jobara Inji Oma Awad Rezin Pema June Lazo Be Jojo Jabyo Namla Jaza Muzo Jorda Yele Juwaye Koza Jude Namgang Sadara Janjo Zembe Labada Reze Ngade Damze Nyamja Pada Zozo Jeve Zonamje Jase Jaba Jelaje Tayen Roa Tongal Jurbala Bemba Jedara Zambe Jokur Kalba Jawa Zami Jini Dondove Dondo Nyangan Med Tage Dozum Zabe Gewa Drogon Janjo Nyembo Dom Jire Om Sonam De Drogon Deda De Tungal Gondala Dalami Tungal Mebe Deda Medal Chogun Nyamye Danyam La Nejo Om Lazo Tene Ngazo Ane Tambi Chu Sulshin Dundrum Gogu Yobayina Ngöndro Ngöshi Jiremba Denzo Ane Tarja Sondro Gogu Yore Ane Shi Ngöndro De Yaboji Mebayina Lam Ngöshi Peda Boji Gyula Tsoktugu Mare La Ketugu Mare Chazang Tambo Ngöndro Den Kechumishiraji Mare.
For a Dharma practice to become authentic Dharma practice, one is required to engage in the stages of both the preliminary and the main practice. Moreover, for the main practice, the path, to become effective, one must first engage and complete the preliminary practice, the support, properly.
Ngöndro Tela Ane Tumong Chi Ngöndro Tumi Nangji Ngöndro Yobale Chi Ngöndro De Ngazo Ane Samlo Tang Simba Wangdu Tang Shabare Ta Tumi Nangji Ngöndro Tela Ane Tarbe Lamje Jugo Jabdo Che Ane Tekjin Lamje Tene Shima Ane Semje Tene Kaljen Tekri Tamje Chongwar Jabala Ane Toje Sembe Komde Tunjen Sosa Bar Jabala Ane Mendal Ane Chelab Jugbi Hi Zor Jubala Menal Jor Cheda Dende Yungi Yubale Tanangazo Ane Semje Jigab Chategi Yure.
In contemplating the preliminary practices, among the ordinary and the extraordinary preliminaries, we have somewhat completed the ordinary preliminary, and continuing with our contemplation on the extraordinary preliminary, there are 5 subdivisions: going for refuge, the doorway or the pathway to liberation; giving rise to bodhicitta, the support for the Mahayana path; meditation and recitation of Vajrasattva, the practice of pacifying and purifying the impediments of negative deeds and obscurations; the mandala practice, the practice of accumulating the favorable condition of merit; and Guru Yoga, the support for receiving the blessings. Of these, we will now begin our contemplation on giving rise to bodhicitta.
Ninda Semje De Komgaba De Ngazo 담제 김에 고방통 고고 요래 담제 김에 람기 아니 사와데 장주주도 섬제바 마도바 람원예바 수마진예 메바 인두 네바도 섬제 고고 요래 그래서 샘 나조 개와도 만도 대발은 좀 만조 상마 샘라라래 요래 근데 샘데 람과 다다를 심바이나 아니 샴바 상마야 랑신 일람로 로고 요디 아니 샘지 다데 가올로 초고레스도는 샘바 상바스나면도 장주지 샘지 다라 쉔네 아니 산지중고 방론 로고 요래.
One might wonder why one should meditate or contemplate on bodhicitta. Since we all aspire to attain the perfect Buddhahood, and since giving rise to bodhicitta is the one and only root or the main cause of the path to perfect Buddhahood, one must give rise to such a mindset. Because our mind is responsible whether we engage in virtuous deeds or the non-virtuous deeds, we must set our mind to the right path, and only if we set our mind to the right path, we are able to follow the path no matter what. Thus, we should let our mind to ride the horse of the bodhicitta mindset and let it follow the path to perfect Buddhahood.
Dido samje de salda bala ani so jabdo kapso nga zo sojin salda bjaba darang pangbo sundo nduni nambo longo zo shuyo nyamba ji ko yore kazana da sanje da changjo samba konjo sumbo de ne yeshe je chen dang temba yanza tenzo pangbo ro ko na ne nga zo tilang gor dang to mare di kundun도 켈렌 담자 잡아데 내가 가드는 루고 그래라 루토고 여러와 되네 너 방법술도 살담네 아니 샘제고 요래.
In contemplating the bodhicitta or the aspiration to attain perfect Buddhahood, first we require or we need to visualize the field of merit that we have previously instructed on visualization as a witness. Since the Buddha, Bodhisattvas, and the triple gems are endowed with the eyes of wisdom, we are not able to befool them as a witness. Thus, having called upon them as a witness, whatever we vow or promise to accomplish, we are able to accomplish, and therefore it is important to call upon them as a witness.
So tene chooks ani pangbo suldo mondo sojin de salda brona shugi.
So now we will visualize the field of merit, calling upon them as a witness for a while.
Nozoda de do pangbo solda benje nundo ne semje go ba yanza semje sedu samlo tsenyi ba ji go yore ne semjen tamja sanje go bang ko ya che do nganzo be changjo to bar che gi yin se gande 제도 닝제의 섬진라 맥바다 셰럽게 조장라 맥바서게 닝제 섬진 탐제 다 가르서 걸어 동안제 랑신제도 딜란달 고고도 다 가와 딜라 타일 탄 가와레 고그래 산제 고만레 고고요레 어디에서도 내초르 보인 산제 고만도 버지긴라 섬진 탐제 산제 살로 고긴 냠반줄로 제니 요간데라 섬제세게 요레 다 콜로 콤조 섬제 돈담 섬제 몸바 섬제 주바 섬제 몽벌레고도데 다나가조 레 당보발라 조 녀워코바 가레도 아니 데가조 섬로당게.
Having said the witness, now we need to give rise to the bodhicitta in front of the field of merit. The bodhicitta in general requires a mindset with 2 points or 2 point of view, so to say. It is a mindset that one resolves to attain the perfect Buddhahood for the sole reason to lead all these sentient beings to liberation. It has both the aspects of compassion and wisdom. Through compassion, one resolves to liberate all the sentient beings from the nature of sufferings, and through wisdom, one resolves to practice the dharma and attain the level of perfect Buddhahood to do so. In giving rise or generating the bodhicitta, there are several kinds of bodhicitta, like that of the relative and ultimate bodhicitta, as well as the generating the bodhicitta of aspiration and developing the bodhicitta of application. But for our purposes, we will contemplate on the type of bodhicitta that is required for the practitioners in the beginning phase.
다 간데 살다 버스도 담보 가서 마르셰 세근지 마셰 진소 데네라서 봐 예빈나네 섬전 탐제 라니 제 파마인바 하는 셰고고 요래 안 가리진데서도 덴제 섬전 탐제 산제 고방고 고그래 대시도니 랍샤그로와 섬전 탐제 산제 고방 가르지는 거고 그래 그거be 좀전데 아니 나랑저 셋디 파마데 아니 나저 대화도 그러와 딜라 동안도 그 말은 딜라 샤브조 샤브도 쉬다 샤브지 쉬라 아니 나좀 가와나 또와 돈의 휴그로와 아니 다 대지버지냐 섬전 탐제 예만에 삼로다에 대처도래 대인자 당보고라 섬전 탐제 가는 게 파마 있나 냐바지 로데 쪽스나 삼로다로나.
So now, to begin with the instruction on visualizing or generating the bodhicitta, first of the three, realizing the mother, remembering her kindness and repaying her kindness, we need to realize that all sentient beings are our mother or our parents. But why do we need to realize that in the first place? It comes to the reason why we have resolved or aspired to lead all sentient beings to liberation or perfect Buddhahood. Our parents of this life, as human beings, want happiness and despise suffering. They don't want suffering. Whatever we do, we strive for and work joyfully for happiness. And it is the same for all sentient beings. Knowing that all beings are our parents, and like our parents of this life, all of these beings desire for happiness and not suffer, and desire not to suffer. This is the foremost thing we must realize. So now let's contemplate and realize all the beings as our mother for a while.
so ta de jene samjen tamje pama kande chagre sidu nga zo ni seba kamsum korwan de la le go yuna ni kewalang go yore ta lebs na nga zo de la kaduna tharnyong gora yo marela ani kalba thongmene tanda bardo kamno korwan na yo kare yo yongdu tene debe kamso kewalang go na palcher ani kazo gora pama la tene ke go gorwa ani pama ke go de zan ani sedi pama de kansa danang ara so pama yembare kewangama ane pama suyimin 하고 그 말에 디 겨왕마 pama suyi 하고 말에 디 겨왕마 되네 진나 깔바 통매 버던 저와 겨와 가솔랑 유메 장가 요거라 매바래 ane 되네 인도 다 섬진지 단당 아랑게 pama 임베 섬진지 ane pama 가조 제열에서나 장가지 소나 아니 점물가 사천보 상마 레부선에 레부 중중 중조서에 이나 사이를보던 조그레데 섬진지 소소제 파마제바 장가디 아니 다른 당에 말아서 그래 다 된대진 섬진 레레레진 로르 섬진 용조 파마 제바 샤다레데 레레나 파마 수 망와다 수 뇽아서 근데 셰트베가 매바레 다 파이나라 맘 이나라 년이 년생이나라 조조마라서 막 맞아봐 찌게 매바레 아니 대가 된대임바 인상 는 사마서도 파마 맞아 지하면도와 다는 나랑 파마 찍고 야부 찍고 요 나랑 단다 되년년 거동 뭐시 찍고를 팬도고 셴바도 요샤는 저서 말아와 상마 다냐면바 상마 세디 마이나야 제가 강론적이 파마 많이 받는 지하면도 어디 상마 가든 좀 말해도 파마래 아 냠바지 완전히 교즈 섬나나로나.
One might wonder how come all the sentient beings are one's own parents. The reason is for one to be in the samsara of the three realms, we need to take birth, and as we know, we have not been liberated yet. And having been here for countless eons, we have taken birth in this desire realm through our parents. We know our parents of this life, but what about our parents in previous lives? The life before that, and before that, how about all the countless lives that we have taken birth for eons and eons? It is said that we cannot count how many times a single being has been our parents. Even if we were to count the dust particles of the whole earth combined, it is said we will not be able to count the times a single being has been our parents or our loved ones, our relatives, or our siblings, and so on. So what about all other beings of the six realms? All the beings in the six realms are said to have been our parents, each and every being not less or more times than the other. Thus, it does not make sense for us to do good only to our parents or our loved ones or our relatives. Each and every being is equal in that sense. Even if they are not in this life, they have been our parents and have been kind to us for our countless lives. So now visualize that all of these beings are your parents and greatly kind towards oneself.
나서 네타데로 파마 마주바 섬제 메바 인자 안 파마 된서 참마 안 소절라 가든 좀 샤다 샤데 요래 ane kaadrin khande che yore, lamna tanda sedi sozo pamala hago yore. Ane amanda ojila cha zomba ina, ane chung chung maji bingo langan langna mi lui la samlo dana, paje dawa ko chagirwa di lingla nyar. Ane kaya sa ojila karasa lui chua da men dalwa che, ane korang wama ji lui, ane kasa ora se dinzo ya pui na yare kuen ane goye jang daa na shindo maadang wa shine kuen ane tarong pama kaise sozo je saa yola mela kwaya yola mela dende chung na ya ane bugu dila na saya da kwaya dine yoba dende soyo je tabchan tang rogo yore ane karsa kore xieja lobjong yonden denzo ya ngo tangpo ane pame lab rogo yore ane labda la soba tangu yuna ane sozo sawa dang tungwa kwamba la soba sozo ji samden sana mendo miyul da lega dinzo kaya chumba dinzo pa yungne ane buku ji lobjong da xenyun da mize yin dulan mo sanglo dane chine mi ane salong che chugu duwa ane ta di nangshen ji na pa la se ura pa yang katen taga nangshen ruwa ma chikbu ji dende yung marwa and papa chibula sanodana koran dene nanshin chinen kadin kyang de yore o tenje chine semje rere chine se de yore sozo je kange kadin kazu chumbore dolana ta dene hago gurwa mi lunden sagande top khabo shu yobadi ene topade sui kadere pamani je kadere ene gazo mi da mi tu ne keje she ba ton ko ne ba ene tanda rango thon ne ba sama sui kadere ne hi pamani je kadere wa tene jane lazo ba tene kaso gore tena tezong sozo la dan tomo mai me ka jin mangba yujuro wa tene ka jin de zo tene tengo go yore de ka jin la chos samulo daro na shugi
Now, since all these beings have been our parents, and as said, their kindness towards us are great, one may wonder how exactly have they been kind to us. So for that, let's take our own parents of this life, for example. To begin with, as for us human beings, our mothers keep us in their womb for 9 months before we take birth. After our birth, our parents make sure we never go cold, always providing us with shelter and warmth. Our mother milk us and keep us healthy, feeding us with all the best food they could provide. They clothe us as best as they can. Even if they don't have much to eat or clothe themselves, they make sure to feed and clothe their children as best as possible. Parents are our first teachers who show us the world, and when time comes, they make sure their children get good education. Some parents even give up their own goals and ambitions, leaving their own needs behind to send their children to good schools and make their children's life and future more secure. In regards to the role of a father, they too are as kind as our mothers, since they both work together for the betterment of us, their child. There is no difference in the kindness of a father and a mother. In this way, we can imagine how each and every sentient beings have been kind to us by acknowledging the kindness of our parents of this life. So, just the fact that we are born as a human being, which is in itself a very rare opportunity, is all because of our parents. The fact that we are able to understand, talk, and go about in this world and be the best of ourselves is all the kindness of our parents alone. Likewise, each and every uh, parents are kind in different and particular circumstances for each and every being. So now let's remember all the kindness that our parents have bestowed us and contemplate on them for a while.
so dene inzang jingden denala sewa lemme bana sewa tangma zangsho ani sewa khadu na yura mebe sewa nangende phame phoju madoba ani shamba shada kombo chagre ani shamba sewa donzo ko den ga yo mare ina phame phoju donzo la sewa de ngone le yo marwa ngone thang marwa denre sewa jinje phama donzo la da ngazo pendo go yore kare chenez na phama donzo yang deba dewa dogo yore ani 동al dogo yo mare dewa dogo yore den dewi kyu ani Rumba shene den mege wa chu dawo da ani dosum jikun ne langbele lunga dile denzo janjan chu dogo yore ani dewa doba yore den dewi kyu kewa chu da mege wa pangwe je tabse denzo yabu jene den ma shene da danda bodo koro la la de ro ni lama tsani da demba yang da ba yang jal kha bon jal na yang dama menga do shu ma she ani chue tsani da demba che ma ni che na yang chue ji tun di nyam len che ma she wa tende chena ne ko koro la la de ro wa ta de me do phama de do je ten jal go re kalba thome ne danda ba dong so ka din shu ji kyang ba ani tilen jal shu ji la de ro wa ta tin jal go yo na then jal je zo de ko sambe 던전 줍주고 요래 삼든 줍에 내가 저 삼든 참 많이 봐 내가 삼든 줍주 메라세요 말에 내가 삼든 안 줍고 그래 뒤 내가 저 강에서 그러와 다 내가 저 삼든 줍에 나 강에서 지고 난더바 심절 하고나 뒤 아니 밤에 되는 약보진 다다 다른 잘 두고요 말에 단다 버동 아주 파마 찌기장 되는 잘 두고요 말에 다 가서는 아주 걸어와라 말 하대도 파마 tarbanang tamche jibon gobala kwa tubiyo mare pame dungal zaonine meba so tubiyo mare da roju semjen tamche pama indi konzo dungal tamche ne meba so godo de sosa zawa ngoma de karir semla to do sem zemba da ni zen da nga dan ko dan la so ba duksum jiwang do shone lagba teze bardu hen kang negam je kang kazesel na yang 동al 도 중도도 땅에 파마도 된다 샤나 짠을 저서 말에 배 가라서 걸어 sem 걸어라 렘네 배다 닝바로와 갱고 연자로 걸어라 또 제와 찍찍라 섬노다는 갱바쇼마 담을 유저레데 걸어랑라 섬노다는 상황 갱고 연자래 다디 갱고도 저는 알소지 잡고도 섬노 알소지야데 걸어라 알소네 는 산제고 방 도비아래 대주등의 최주배 마도 현가면도 더 최주배 대한 당보 랑니 상제네 아니 칼레 심자 담자 산고 방고 버체기 냠바니 잘보다 심지지 고는 로나양다 랑신 심자 담제 냠도 산고 방고 버체기 인스 나랑 최주배 아니 람디 심진된 졸라 또야 냠도 안드레다니 가르서 오래 냠바다 심지지 고네 아니 쳔바이 나한다 양나 저거다 버심지 근데 심진도 전에 로당 도사 말에 건조 파마레 가든 좀 샤다레 다 샤샤는 드소미도 된도 상마 담보산이 고방 넣고 아니 나라 젤라시네 상제는 득사를 냠버잖이 저거다 버심지 다섬 되네지 섬제 넘버숨 강지 권은 로나양 지부지자레 제버가 요 말아와 심제다미도레 근데 진짜당에 저주부이 섬저 산지고 볼마고네 큐네 저기면도 선다 담제 템보지 근데 계고도 진len 잘에 아랍초도 저버든 된데레 어디로란 교즈 나 삼나나로나
As it is said, the most pure and undefiled love is that of a parent to their children. There is no other kind of selfless and pure love than the love of a parent. There are various kinds of love that we may find amongst us, but nevertheless, they all are temporary. So, to those parents who have bestowed us such pure love and kindness, we should help and benefit them. As every being, our parents desire happiness and despise suffering, but not knowing the actual cause to the happiness, they engage in the very cause for suffering. They engage in the 10 negative deeds, in actions that are influenced, and actions that are influenced by the 3 poisons, and so on. Though they do desire happiness, our parents have been stuck in the samsara till now, not knowing the actual cause of happiness, of relying on the 10 virtuous deeds and engaging on the methods of getting rid of the causes of suffering. Likewise, to begin with, it is hard to meet an authentic teacher. Even if one does meet one, they are not able to receive teachings and instruction from them. Even if they do receive teachings, they are not able to realize the actual meaning of the Dharma. In this manner, they are stuck in the samsara till now. So, in realizing that we must repay the immeasurable kindness of our parents, all the kindness that they have bestowed us for eons and eons, we must try and fulfill their goals to do that. Not just their temporary or conventional goal, but the ultimate goal of relieving them from all the sufferings. Yes, we must also fulfill their temporary goals that helps in their conventional difficulties, but limiting only to the conventional goal is not enough to repay their kindness. It is not enough even to repay the kindness of our current parents. Since we are still caught in the samsara, we haven't been able to relieve our parents from all these sufferings and leading them to perfect Buddhahood. And so, since all sentient beings are one's parents, one should resolve to relieve all of them from the suffering, and since that the main cause of the suffering is the mind, and thus until the mind is caught up in attachment, the sense of me, my, and others, influenced by the three poisons, it is stuck in the samsara, and although other difficulties may subside for some time, the main suffering always makes its way back, and thus one should vow not to leave one's parents in this situation. And since all of us are quite old from the point of view of samsara, maybe not old from the point of view of a single lifetime, one should resolve to alleviate all the sufferings of these old beings and let them retire from samsara. And the only way to do that is to lead them to perfect Buddhahood, and to make that possible, one should practice Dharma. Thus, in realizing this, one should engage in practicing the Dharma. One can either approach it from the king-like bodhicitta, that is, aspiring to lead all the sentient beings to perfect Buddhahood by first attaining the perfect Buddhahood oneself, or approach it from the ferryman-like bodhicitta or the boatman-like bodhicitta, aspiring to reach perfect Buddhahood simultaneously by following the path and at the same time showing the path to other beings. Or lastly, approach it from the shepherd-like bodhicitta, that is, first leading one's own parents and other beings to Buddhahood, and only then, after then, seeking one's own attainment of the perfect Buddhahood. Either way, all these three approaches are just a different form of giving rise to bodhicitta. In that way, we should vow and resolve firmly to lead all these beings to perfect Buddhahood, and know that it is the only way one can repay the kindness of one's own parents. So now let's contemplate on this for a while.
la so dini beja de june nyam no so nang.
So now let's recite the concluding part of the liturgy.
Zo jian dam je wo jo rang la korwe dong al je le dar wa ra ju ro o je ye ro ba je me jel gro te je sang a je be ge wa de zum za be ge zo gon don de la me jang nyang bo ro ngo wa ra ji sonam de da ye ro wa chen na zang we bar je gu ji rem ne lam je je ba dar je pe ma jal be ngo ba nyur do ju za je la chen lam ne la jo ye dam kan do le da je ji che jong zo me bar je gu za cho de ngo jo de ta je ju o ma o me ran go ro be ma ze de o mi je de le je be ye je ne o za nyu me ka ye da me son jo wa me jo da ra ngo na ra je jo me je jo be ma je ni ngo zom ja ze de le o nyam na go me jal me ga je re ba ze me ba wo dang es che ze lo de do je lo ga ran ju de de me go bo da e ni je de re je ja na be mo Kuzum gonde jeme do jans Kando jo me zen jo je la zo Zendang go ye nam ro da le be jo jo wa jeme de zander Da je ga nyam ye je ja zo se de be ma da do je wa ra jo de ya re ze nam je ze lam la de ne ku na ye je ja zo so je la me go ba nyu do ra je de ne lo je do ba ra jo de me je da yer me be man rana da be san do ba re na re yer me ma ju nyu me de ne nam da jin ke wa ra jo gang do je be je wa dam je do re yön de do ba ra Yama da do je dan je juru ne zo je ju be ra wa yu che do ne ne nying be den ju de se de ze be ja zo ga lo se ban dan be che ra de je je shen be ju la ju ga la me la je jen de jo re me ba tam je jam je san je do ba ra jo la so to je che ane ko zo do ja na ne nga zo do la che ma ja yo.
Thank you, everyone. Take care, and we will see you next week.